Hey, you guys, welcome to Splinterlands TV. It is I, the Psy, and I'm here today to talk a little bit about SPS and the current SPS rental system that we have, and how I think it can be worked a little bit to make it more efficient, more user-friendly, and some of the problems that exist within it right now. As some of you guys may know, I'm using a new account, which I had to go and rent some SPS to be able to keep my battle rewards nice and high. And it was quite the experience, one that was not very user friendly. So I figured I'd want to talk a little bit about SPS. I had this problem with my main account as well when I was renting SPS. So let's make a video, let's talk about it. Now, before we really get into it, I want to let you guys know that I am going to be running a contest for some of my content that I create on both here on YouTube as well as on HIVE. HIVE has been pretty good to me. Gotta say, I'm very impressed with the way that HIVE has worked these past few weeks since I started doing some content on there. I'm gonna give something back. For those of you guys who are watching my content on YouTube and making comments, and who are also going ahead to my HIVE post and making comments, every season for the next 4 seasons, including this one, so this season and the next 3, I'm going to be giving away 2 Chaos Legion packs, which basically kind of represents 1 a week when this season ends, to people who've left comments on my YouTube and my HIVE. Now, you'll get 1 entry for a YouTube comment. Make sure you include your username, and you'll get 1 entry for a HIVE comment. Make sure you include your username. So you could potentially, for every one of these, because I normally include a link to HIVE oftentimes, you could be getting 2 entries. Now, if you make 3 or 4 comments, you still only get 1 entry, but you can get 1 entry for HIVE comment and 1 entry for YouTube comment. So we'll be doing that for the next 4 seasons, this season included. It's a short little bit here. We've only got 6 days left, but I'm running a competition in conjunction with Gathering the Magic in Dolo Night, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So figured while that's going on, I'll go and I'll do my own little contest as well. Now, let's get on to the SPS portion. So again, don't forget to leave a comment, like, share, subscribe on this YouTube video. And if you want the bonus, head over to the HIVE post I'm going to be making about this as well. Now, moving along, we're going to be talking a little bit about SPS today and the difficulties that I've had in actually renting it, and some of the interface problems and some suggestions I might have to actually make things a little bit more user-friendly. So to start off with, just off the main play screen here, there's a few ways that you can actually get to the SPS screen. You can either click on the SPS itself, which gets you to the main screen, or from the play, you can go and you can click on Glint Boost Manage, which would take you directly to your Glint Boost and your modifiers, and then you can go ahead and you can click on Rent over here, which would take you to Rental. So from my perspective, knowing that Glint and SPS are probably the most important things in regards to your battles, I feel like for how important it is, that there isn't enough emphasis and it's not easy enough to rent this SPS or to even know how much SPS it is that you need to rent. Let's take the easiest way. Now this way is the easiest way to get to renting your SPS. You click on Manage next to Glint Boost, and then you would click on Rent, and here you are on this nebulous rental screen that just asks, hey, how much SPS do you want to rent? What's the price? And do you want multiple bids? And here's how much DEC is going to cost you. For one, part of the problem is that if I wanted to get 10,000 DEC or 10,000 SPS and I want to pay in DEC at let's say 0.001, which seems to be the going rate, you can see that would cost me 70 DEC. Well, if I wanted to pay in credits, it's also going to cost me 70 credits. And as we all know, credits should be worth way more than DEC. So there's actually this price discrepancy that exists. It's not making the conversion between what the DEC and the credits price would be. So that's one of the first things that needs to kind of change here, is it has to differentiate between how much you pay in credits and how much you pay in DEC. If we were to go to the market and I were to try and buy this Pellicor Bandit, for instance, it would show me that it's 28 cents in DEC. But if we go to credits and we click buy, 277 credits versus 390 DEC. So you can see that there's a big discrepancy, and the fact that it isn't making that conversion when we're going ahead and we're talking about the SPS, I mean, I feel like that might potentially put new users, especially, in a position where they're kind of losing out. Because as you know, new users don't even get DEC. They only get credits, 3,500 credits. For some reason, I think that someone only got 3,000. I'm not sure, but you only get credits. So personally, from my new account, I had to literally go buy a card, burn that card for DEC in order to get DEC to use to actually get the proper ratio, because there's no way I was going to spend credits at par with DEC. Now, secondly, if we go back to play and we're looking at our ranked play, it shows the glint boost, and you can see I'm not at the recommended 10x, which I guess that's cool. I like to run between 8 and 10 if possible. 8 is totally fine. Some people 6 might be fine. It doesn't really matter. But when I go to manage my glint boost, I feel like it's lacking in the information that should be required to give me an educated opinion on how much glint I should have. Sure, it says that I'm at a 9.45 and it gives some other statistics, but when I go to rent, it doesn't show me how much I need to get to 10x. It wouldn't show me if I was at 6x how much I needed to get to 8x. It doesn't even show me the reward table with the calculations on how much it needs for each league. And that's over here if we were to go and really take a look. You can see that it shows the reward multiplier table, but this is actually nowhere to be found on the actual SPS rental screen. So if I was in Silver 3 and I was looking for that 10x of basically 2,000 to get 10x, and I only had 900, I wouldn't know that I need to rent an extra 1,100 to get to that 2,000. I would just have to kind of take a guess based on this SPS. So I feel like this screen is lacking in having the table showing, basically, or some way for you to know, hey, if I rent this much SPS, based on the number of SPS I have right now, what is that going to put me at for my multiplier? So that's one of the things I think could be improved upon, is actually showing the table, so we're going to be able to make an educated decision on how much SPS we're to rent, as well as making it a little bit easier to find our way here and manage the SPS. Because you can go ahead, like I said, you can click on manage under glint boost, and then you see your boost, then you can click on rent. It doesn't give you much information. Conversely, you can always click on the SPS button itself, which takes you to all of your SPS in your management screen. Then you have to click on manage. Then it takes you up to your outgoing, your incoming. It shows you the market. And then only from the market can you actually go and can you rent the SPS on this little button here. Another problem that I see is when you're actually going to rent the SPS, look at how many people are trying to rent it 0.001. So there's lots and lots of people, and there's no way to differentiate between who you should and shouldn't rent to. There's no extra decimal place for you to actually be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm willing to rent at 0.0015. Now, I know that by saying that, that means that you could theoretically say, well, why not add 5 decimal places? And why not add 6? And my answer is why not? Why not make it a little bit more like what we have over here with Hive Engine? So when we're looking at something like Hive Engine, which is a standard kind of marketplace, you'll always have a buy order and you'll have a sell order. And the difference between the buy and the sell is the spread. Now, when I've been going ahead, and here's another one of the issues I've had, when I've been going ahead and I've been trying to rent SPS, unless I go ahead and I say, you know what, forget it, I'm going to pay twice as much as the 0.001, I'm going to bid 0.002, it takes forever to get your SPS delegated to you. You just end up waiting in line for forever, and while I did go ahead and I got some bids filled here, I mean, it wasn't an immediate thing that happened. I didn't have the option to just, let's see if I can even find my way back. Incoming, outgoing, market, here we go. I didn't have the option to just say, you know what, I need 10,000 SPS, I'm gonna rent 10,000 SPS and click rent the SPS. If we had something more like a buy and a sell table where you could immediately go and rent SPS on whatever the rent price was, or conversely, if you wanted it cheaper, you could go to a bid price and create your bid of 0.001, then that would definitely be beneficial. Even if I wanted to go ahead here and I wanted to rent at 0.002, I have to wait for that to be filled. Now, that's not saying that there aren't some bots that would immediately fill it for you if you went to 0.002, but I mean, it would be nice to know that I could try and get 0.0015 from a buy or an immediate ability to go and rent it. So I feel like that's kind of another flaw here, is that I had to wait quite a while before my bids actually got filled, and I had to stop playing because my bid was, or sorry, my multiplier was down to something like 6.1, and I didn't want to keep playing and using up my energy, only getting a 6.1 multiplier. So I entered my bid, and then I had to just wait and wait, and then I basically went to sleep. Woke up the next day. Fortunately, someone had filled it. So thanks a lot to Crypto Egg and Chiboulet who filled my 0.001 bids. So it's not like these aren't getting filled, but the fact I had to wait for it, I mean, it was not optimal. And the fact that bids are getting filled at 0.001 means why should you have to put in a bid at 0.002, which is clearly not market rate. So let's go ahead, let's add another decimal to this, and let's give an basically a rent now column as well as a bid for SPS rental column, which is what we have basically in all other avenues of crypto and marketplace. There's always a get it now or wait to get it cheaper, and we don't have that over here when we're talking about SPS. So what are some of the solutions that I can offer to this? Because I know that I've gone ahead and complained a lot here, and I've said, hey, this system is kind of terrible. It's clunky. It's hard to get to all of these different sections. What can we do to fix it? Well, obviously, I've already talked about some of those things. Some of those things are clearly either add another decimal place, so we can go ahead and I can bid 0.0015 and be at the top of the list. It can be go ahead, add a coming and a going, rent now versus bid on rental section. And I think that this is what we really should be doing, creating the spread and having things work like any other part of the marketplace, having a bid and having a straight up ask price. Aside from that, we can go ahead, we can have a little bit of a better interface. When I'm going to play and I want to go and I want to manage my glint, it would be nice if I went to rent and there was the table available for me to look at right now, so I can see on the table what the different multipliers are. And it would be really beneficial to even have a drop down so that it would tell me your current amount of SPS rented or owned is this much. In order to get an 8x multiplier, you would need to rent this much. In order to get a 10x multiplier, you would need to rent this much. And then maybe even have a button up here that says rent to 8x, rent to 10x, and you could click the button and it would auto-populate your SPS requested. Something like that would be really beneficial instead of, here's this screen, I hope you know what you're doing, I hope you know how much you need, and yeah, get to it, have fun, wait for someone to fill this rental. So that's one of my first suggestions that I have there for you. Let's see. And let's take one more look here. Yep, it would also give you valuable information on what a spread would be between the two and allow more competition when we did go ahead and we had this buy and this sell. Or I shouldn't say buy, I should say this rent now and this bid for rental section. Now, some of the solutions that are already out there that sort of look good for this, but aren't properly making the best use of this SPS, but that do kind of help. You've got XBot, which does have an SPS rental market. So if you were in a real pinch, you could come over to XBot and you could go ahead and you could rent your SPS right away. So you'd be able to go down over here, and I'll put a link to the SPS market in this video as well. You can see the active listings that exist, how much SPS is available to be rented and everything right now, and the APR that would give you. So you can see that right now over here at 6.6, but if we were to go to, see again, I have to find my way back. If we were to go to market, we'd see that if you were to get it here on the marketplace for bids that are being filled at 0.001, you'd actually save a lot more just trying to wait it out, you know? But not only do you have to go ahead here and try and rent at this price, I'll go to silence, but the SPS amount that you might want, you might not be able to get because you also require something called XBot credits. And the X credits that you're going to need, let's see if I can find my way over there. X credits that you're going to have associated with your account are at about a 100-to-1 ratio. So right now, since I only have 5 X credits, which cost 5 DEC, I'll only be able to rent 100 times that. So 500 SPS. Watch, SPS amount 500, maybe 499, 499. Wow, okay, let's try this. Number of weeks, 1 at 500. Plus 60 EC for that. All right, let's just try to do 450. So I can do 450, I guess, which would cost me the 5 DEC, which would use up 5 Xbox credits. So it's not even that it's only more expensive to rent kind of off Xbot, but you also have to invest in DEC to get the Xbot credits. So in my opinion, this is something, if you need it right away, go ahead and go and do the rental. But it's not optimal, and it's quite a bit more expensive between the higher APR that you're going to be paying in order to get the SPS, as well as the fact that you need to spend DEC to get the Xbot credits. Now, something I've actually done in the past, this is another option for you as well, is to reach out on Discord. Let's open up my Discord here. And to basically try and talk to people on Discord to see if you can go and you can find someone who's going to be willing to just rent you the SPS at a constant rate. So right now, I've gone ahead and in the past, I've talked to Dave McCoy. Dave McCoy has said, hey, you know what, Silence? I'll go ahead and I'll just rent you this SPS at whatever the rate is that we agree on. And then, just make sure that you pay me every season. So that's something that we can do. I'm actually doing that right now with Brave Tofu. I have 20,000 SPS that's coming in from the Brave Tofu actually promotion right now for new players. But the other 20,000 SPS, I'm actually just straight up renting from him at 0.001 per SPS. So I'm actually bypassing completely the Splinterlands marketplace and just saying, hey Tofu, or hey Dave McCoy, or hey someone like Crypto Eater, or whoever it is that's got a lot of SPS available is willing to help you out. I will go ahead and I will pay you every season or every month, whatever the case may be, to rent a certain amount of SPS, so I don't have to deal with trying to get things filled on the marketplace, and I don't end up in a situation where it's like, hey, you know what, I'm at 6, I need to get to 10, my delegation, it expired, because things expire, right? I've only got 3 days, or I've only got 4 days left on this before it literally expires, and then my SPS goes down and I'll have to try and get the rentals again. So it just makes it a lot more convenient for me to just directly rent from people like Dave McCoy and Brave Tofu again. Now, that would not be the case if I could go to market and there were to be a good rent now versus bid to try and get later option. But right now, that doesn't exist. So those are some of the problems that I see with the SPS right now. Those are some of the ways that I think that we can fix it. What do you guys think about the SPS? Have you been having problems with your SPS rentals? Have you been waiting forever to try and get one filled? Or do you feel like you've had to overpay because market price is 0.001 and you're like, I need the SPS. I'm going to do 0.002 and have like a bot fill it for me, which I don't think is the right way to do it either. Let me know what you think in the comments. Give me a like, share, subscribe, and don't forget, when you leave a comment, leave your Splinterlands username. I'm going to collect those usernames, and at the end of the season, I will do a draw for 2 packs of Chaos Legions. You can only win once, though, okay? So, I mean, if I pull your name twice, you can only win once, but you can enter multiple times for those draws. So, I hope that this has helped. I hope this has got us thinking about SPS and ways that we can change the SPS to make it more user-friendly, more efficient, quicker, a little bit more detailed than 0.001 and just having 1,000 of these bids. Well, next time, it's I, the Psy. I will catch you guys around Praetorian. Take care, my friends. Peace!